Hey, nothing like a good thermos. This is nothing like one. We got the paper towels. Tea's a good color to paint with, so what the heck. Morning to you, Donna L. Barton and Pat Brooks. Hope you're well this morning. Let's see, I gotta grab a tube of paint, just reminded me here. Grab those tubes right there. Not quite top of the morning from Arkansas. Well, yeah, that's true. Neither is it for Denise Albright. It's not even the sun hadn't even said I'm getting up yet out there in California. So great to have you guys on this morning. I sound a little croaky. Welcome to Croakyville. It's just that time of year. In fact, you can always tell when you see me wearing this. Got out the old barber vest here, ladies and gentlemen, because, well, just because, dadgummit, it's chilly here. It was 40 degrees, I think, so that's not cold for you guys who live up in those cold states. And my granddaughter has been in Vermont for the last few days and sending us pictures of snow coming down. I'm going like, let's get the heck back to the Boone Mountains. So, but the school opens back up this week after the great flood. And man, still be lifting up and praying for families out there. There are still hundreds and hundreds of people missing. And it's not good. Some are found in lakes, washed down with parts of houses. And it's been a tough thing on Western North Carolina. So we feel very blessed and spoiled to be here in power and food and enjoying family. So I painted one little painting yesterday in my Bible journal, and I didn't even paint. I was with my family the whole day, just soaking in laughter and blessings with the grandkids and feeding them. And I think I did crepes in the morning. I did sliders last night. Carol cooked. I mean, we just put out a smorgasbord spread, and family showed it up, and I'm so country. Some days it scares me. Good morning to you. Glad you're on the show this morning. Let me. I'm showing you the desk. I've got some colors laid out here. Here it is right here. I'm going to tell you about these colors. I took my son came in from Knoxville, and had to go by Jerusalem to get here because I-40 is cut off for we don't know how long. It washed out in the storm. So the original Google Maps came up and said closed until October of 2025. And everybody goes, But I think they'll have one lane open, but that's like being open. That's like not being open when you, one lane is one lane going each way, but still the area across the Pisgah Forest and is busy thoroughfare. So they had to come around up through Virginia and cut across, and there's another way through Greenville, but 85 because of all the people coming out of Florida from last week's storm. And so thinking about you guys in Florida too that just got pounded across the Tampa region. And I mean, Jacksonville is still under a big wave of storm. So I tell you, it is what it is, people. We're not in charge of the weather, even though we think we are. We're not. All right, so here we go. Let me say hello. Donna L. Barton said that. Pat Brooks. Pat, I'll remind myself, I'm going to lay it this one color out right there. Denise Albright, Jean Anthalzer. Thanks for being on. Miss Carla's up, she says. Sue Kane, all the way across the pond, the big pond. Karen Bender is on. Love it. Karen is a prolific artist, folks. She puts some paint and pen to the paper. June Jones, thanks for being on the show. Ricky Bastinis Govers, I'm sure I messed up your name, but I always love it. Good morning from Mexico. Okay. Marie Pikert, thanks for being on. Alice Durham, I always know you're from around the Carolinas. Jason Nicholas from New Jersey. Kimberly Fox Salowich, thanks for being on the show. Good to see your name on, always. All right, you guys are saying hello to each other, so I'm repeating names here. There's Bob. There he is from Up Crisp, you bet. North Minnesota. He calls it Nort. He just left out the H, but I kind of like that. I'm going to start calling it North Minnesota. I'm from North Minnesota, where we drink soda, but not pop. Let's see here. Janet Dobler, thanks. Top of the morning. Thank you. Glad you're on. Janetta. It's Janetta Taylor Dobler, maybe. 1B. So love to have you on the show. Thanks. Laura Logan from St. Louis. Send me a rib over in a box. Trish Brown and John Robert Small. Top of the morning to you, John Robert Small. Glad you're on the show today. Hope you're doing well, sir. And all right, let me see if I can focus this lens just a little better, so you can read these. Keep them out. I didn't keep them out of focus on purpose, but that's a long way off for this little lens. But we'll try it. All right, so Pat, I saw you on the show today. So my son and I, he comes in from Knoxville and he says, "Hey, do we have time to run over to Cheap Joe's, the one in Charlotte?" I said, "You bet. Let's go." So Cheap Joe's Art Stuff, we go traipsing across, and he said, I said, we should get some new paint, and he and I are painting through. He's also painting through the Book of Matthew, which is just some biblical. And I'm doing Mark right now for a group at my church, and so each week I send out a painting that I do, and they post it, and it's not for them to start painting like I'll probably start back doing with Good News Roo, but it's given me some practice. And here's what that does. When it's like going back to my words. Does some of you remember the words that I did? I'm going to grab a book right here in just a second, and I'm going to remind you. I bump into 2 or 3 people a week, and here's what they say with. Let me give this picture in picture here. Here's what they say with rounded shoulders, and then like that. So it's why I used to live in East Tennessee. And what we used to say about the people there, say, they're the people who have round shoulders and flat heads. And you say, why is that? Because my dad said, you boys have round shoulders and flat heads. So why is that? And he said, I ask you something. You go, I don't know. And I tell you the answer. And you go, I should have known that. So it's a funny little thing. So I'm not trying to get them to paint what I paint. I'm trying to get them to paint what they think of. And so here's what happens in that. Is that people go, I don't know what I should paint. And I'll say, why don't you paint the coffee cup in front of you? And you go, I should have thought of that. You're sitting in a world that is nothing but modeling for painting. And then yet we forget. Met a landscape artist yesterday in Cheap Joe's buying all sorts of supplies. And she was an architect who said, I just paint for a hobby. And I said, what is your go-to? And she said, landscape. And I said, do you paint them from photographs where you've traveled? Photographs that you look at? Or do you paint them when you go out and just set up the easel and paint plein air? And she says, well, I love doing that. I mostly do that with oil. I'm mixing some different chemicals not chemicals, but it's a soupy liquid you put with acrylic so it won't dry so fast, but it'll act more like oil paint. And I said, well, I don't know how any of that acts because I don't paint that well, but I just paint with watercolor. And then I'll go, when the water's dry, I'll quit, but then I can add some more. And so I kind of love it. So I told Nathan, I said, we're painting through these biblical stories. And I don't want to say that this is fine art, okay? Don't think you're going to go see a Rembrandt Prodigal Son or something like that. That ain't happening, folks. That's not who I am. But you're going to see my little sketchy art that tells stories. And so that's what it's for. And I said, pick out some colors that you think will go with the Holy Land. And because we're thinking and praying of Israel all the time, simply because, man, they are carrying a burden. And, they've had that land a long time. And so it's been tough. So here's the thing, and to think of living in your house and hearing the sirens go off, and it takes you back to those times when our parents and great-grandparents told us about the wars. And so anyway, I ramble on. I said, pick out the colors. So here's what he picked out. First and foremost, he picked out, and I don't know if you have this, Pat, Pat Brooks. So if you know Pat Brooks, Pat illustrated the first little watercolor book. It was the second book I did. I did a children's book, and then when I wrote Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle, which is usually a copy here somewhere on close by, but I don't see it right now. It's called Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. If I had rules, this is what I would write. And Pat illustrated that book. And Pat, this is called Pat's Coastal Fog. There it is right there. This color is called Pat's Coastal Fog. And I'm going to show you what it looks like this morning because I'm going to paint with Pat's Coastal Fog. I'm going to paint with Peacock Blue. Some of you have these. I'm going to paint with a little bit of earth and green. You're always asking me about that. And then Nathan picked up this chromium oxide green, okay? And so it's a rainforest color. And then some coral red. I don't think I put that out. And some bumblebee yellow. Ooh, and some brown ochre goethite. Now there's a name for you. Certainly exciting. Goethite. I might have to look that up and just see what the heck it means. But I took another little Altoid box. You know, I'm always carrying around my normal Altoid box. And I'm going to get going on this here in a second. Boom. There's my original Altoid box right here. Pat's Coastal Fog. I love that color and use it often, Miss Carla says. There you go. All right. So this is, here's my original Altoid box, which only had 5 colors in it originally, but I squeaked down in here because this Altoid box only holds 5 of my half pans, you know, like this. It just holds that many. That's it right there. And this is not the original. Guess what? I have another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. My daughter had hoarded these away. This one still has plastic on it. And I have one more, but, you know, the hinges wear out after a while. And I love carrying this because it's a little smaller than the 6. Why don't you just buy a bigger thing that holds more? Well, why? Because I don't like to. Okay, I just like this in my front pocket, and my pen's always there. And when I go to Bricktops, here's what the waitress does. She sets these things down, the wait staff. They sent me 6 of these down last Sunday when I hadn't been there in a month. We hadn't been to our favorite brunch place. And she goes, boop. And I go like, well, you think I'm going to get busy today? And she says, well, yeah. And all the wait staff there have my little drawings. And I take one of these, and usually I have to, you know, take a look around and see what's happening and who's sitting there. And so then I'll just take my pen and I'll start doodling on one of these. And what happens if I leave my pen too long in one spot? It literally absorbs this. And you don't have to paint with black at all, because look, if I just leave my Lamy pen here, what happens is the ink just goes out of it and it gets sucked into this piece of cardboard. There's no logo on either side of these. I call them the cheap, inexpensive coasters for restaurants, and I love them. And they paint really well, and so it always draws a little attention. I don't do it that originally, but it does, just because I paint. Carol knows I paint everywhere I go. And I painted 7 of these at the restaurant last week and gave all 7 of them away, and struck up conversations. And she met a lady from California who said, oh, you're coming out to California? Carol's going out to Napa region in, later this month. And crazy thing is, see, I need a little brush. Can I find a brush? Here's another little 4 here somewhere. And let me just get a little of this gamboge and go in here and just pop some of that right in there. And so that's why these are just, I'm talking and I'm doing this at the same time, and you can see it's just kind of a little bit of, it's kind of fun. It's very fun, actually. So a little bit of Payne's Gray here, just in here. And a little bit of, let's see what some of this coastal fog would look like just in these bee wings. I think that'd be kind of cool right up there in the top. Just a little blue sky shining through, a little more water. And then, that has some Payne's Gray in it, so I have to hit that with the towel. And so if you make a mistake on these, maybe you are history. So now I'll just put it over there and be done with it. So this little bee flying into a storm. All right, so you get an idea of how fast I turn these little things on a little coaster. Almost finished it to the music, didn't I? I love when that happens. All right, so what happened is they hand me these little coasters, and some companies don't want you to pay because they must not. They pay an advertisement on both sides. Come on, don't they have any pity on the artist? So I love that when that happens. So there's the Coastal Fog or Pat's Coastal Fog is in there, and Peacock Blue. So what I thought I'd do this morning is I thought I'd do a little painting with these colors, and here's what I did. Let me close that up. I put them in here in another little tin. There it is, right there, and I'll just throw them down here in the floor. I'm trying not to step on them when I leave. And then I'm just going to paint a little painting that I did this week in my Bible. And because what started this whole story was I don't know what to paint. So let me show you. Some of you remember this. Let me take you back to 2020, 2020 when I started painting live. I was thinking, what am I going to do every morning? I can't do a different rooster every morning, yet I had been doing them for several years. I just took this book here, which was called Weird and Wonderful Words. Remember this? I keep it on my shelf over there. Every now and then I'll go, I don't know what to paint today. And I'll go, why don't you just get a book that has words in it and look up the word and hook it to yourself. And what I mean by that is if the leaves are falling and you read something about leafy plugs or tappings or fall leaves, paint a fall leaf. Right now's the time to teach your grandkids and people around you fall leaves. And then weird and wonderful words. So anywhere I would go in here and I'd find a word that was called agnate, A-G-N-A-T-E, a relation by descent from a common male ancestor, especially on the father's side. I just call that agnate. And so there it is, boom. So I drew it in my rooster style. Some of you remember this. It's been a while since I looked at it. This is aquamali, which is a bowl or a jug made to look like an animal or a bird. I call that my room mug. Here it is right here. And so I just painted this rooster with a mug. Boom. You see how simple that is to go, why do you do silly things like that? I'll tell you why. It's because they push me over the edge just a little bit and outside my box, which is very important for me to think creatively. So if you haven't done this in a while, I suggest finding a book. This paper, by the way, is not the slick paper that a lot of new books are painted on. So be sensitive about your paper because the other thing is this. I love Kilimanjaro 140-pound bright white 140-pound cotton. Yeah, you can repeat that 16 times on this website. People say, what paper do you use? I go, Kilimanjaro 140-pound bright white. I almost wish they didn't have this 300 GSM on there because you guys, except for you, Sue Kane, you know that's metric and it just means 140, right? But everybody goes, I got 300 pounds. You go, 300-pound paper is great, but it's hard paper to paint on if you're just learning watercolor. 140-pound original bright white. Why do you like the bright white? I like the bright white because my colors pop and I don't use as much white paint, which you don't use a lot of white paint in watercolor, and it lets the paper show through. And in a transparent wash over, the light of the sun coming in from outside once you framed it hits through that color and you get a reflection back of the color. Yes, it works. Okay, so this is cold press, like my shirt. It's never ironed. 100% pure cotton. And it's acid-free, 20 sheets. It's glued. I get this because it's just glued on one side. Some of you would like to have it glued down all the way. If you're used to having paper that's taped down, go ahead and get one that's glued on four sides. It has a little slot. I have a couple of those. But this is what I rip off. Zip. I put it in my little paper cutter, and then I cut it up in small little pieces. I slip them into my leather wallet like this. There they are right there. And this is what I carry out with me when I don't have restaurants who pass me this. If somebody wants a business card, and I don't cut them all equal. Okay, and you're going, well, of course you don't, right? No. Just eyeball it so that it fits in your, whatever you carry it in. That is my carry every day with my small palette, with my water brush or two, and a pen, a fountain pen, a Lamy, or even today I have this one in my pocket. Okay, but I had this one in my pocket when I started. So that's how I get my paper. All right, so you see what we've done here, and I've done this whole book. Uh, these leaves came from Dollywood. I happened to be in Dollywood that year. It's probably 21 when I was there, and I saw a guy, met a guy who paints on leaves, and I thought that'd be kind of fun. I should probably try to paint a rooster on this leaf. And I thought if I dried it out for a while, oh my gosh, look at that. I could sketch right on this leaf, and I could put a rooster on there, and I'd have a fall leaf with a rooster. All right, so I'll come back and paint that someday, now that I've reminded myself. So these are just rough. Some of these were with Sharpie. Some of these were just crazy. You know, this is a story. This is a farmer holding a pig up to a pecan tree so he could get fat. And you say, how long is that going to take? And the farmer says, what's time to a pig? People go, you seem to use a lot of time up in life painting watercolor. And I'll go, what do you waste your time on? Watching, scrolling through videos? Or I want to do something creative. And so we all get hooked on something. And so here it is. So there's this. I've been doing the same thing in my Bible, and it's been a little more beneficial to my health and my heart, I think. But anyway, that's kind of how I got into that. It was about the same period of time. I think, wow, I like painting in books because it pushes my boundaries. So I got into that. She had another book that's called More Weird and Wonderful Words, and I don't think I ever finished it. I got in here pretty far, but I just, you know how it is when you write one book and it works, and you try to write another book of the same thing? No. Okay. So today I'm going to take these colors in my new little piece here, and I'll try to remind you what they are as I go across, and we'll put on some of this and go from there. Holidays really pop on 300-pound watercolor. Yeah, you bet they do, Pat. And if you're using 300-pound watercolor paper, it is fabulous, but it is hard to paint on. This is what I painted last week, if you remember. Look at the size of this rascal. And he's on 300-pound paper. And, man, it is like, look at my little picture-in-picture. You can see how stiff that paper is. Take a look. I mean, I'm shaking it to bend over, and it's like a piece of poster board. This is bright white Kilimanjaro, 300-pound, and this one sold last week. But you can probably, even on the camera, see the edge of this. Look, I mean, it's like 3 pieces of this paper. Okay, I'm going to put this over there so it doesn't get stomped. It's supposed to get rolled up today and shipped. I was trying to ship it tomorrow or yesterday, but I just didn't get the right tube that I wanted. So it's really kind of tricky to ship a piece that thick or heavy. So anyway, all right, here we go. If you got questions, you can put a cube beside them, and I'll try to get to them. But I wanted you to see, yeah, going to California. No, yeah, we met this lady, and the lady said, oh, you should, she said, yeah, I'm coming out to so-and-so. She says, oh my gosh, I live right down the street. Here's 4 things that I'll do. And I handed her a base. She said, I'm just so rushed right now. So I painted her a little rooster on the card and I said, just slow down. Life is short. And she said, you have no idea I need that. And so she and Carol had a conversation. And then she emailed Carol this week and said, here's a couple places too that you and your friends should connect. Here, 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 and here. The connection of art is mind-boggling. All of you should use it more if you're not using it now. Okay? All right, here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a number 5 pen. Here's one right here. And I'm just going to draw this boat. And I'm not a real good boat drawer, and there's a reason for that. I'm not even really much of a water person. So I know that's, I'm just not. I just... So, but I'm thinking, and I just did a little pencil sketch to get, see if I wanted it to angle down this way, and I think that's what I want right here. I love just, these are my doodles. These are not, once again, I'm not trying to do some fancy schmancy thing. I'm just kind of letting this roll, come up with a round part right here, drop in a little, come into there, come down there with some plank boards on this thing, and maybe it's a rough old boat that's hewn. It comes on through here. But I also think I want to drop some water coming up there like that. And so I'm going to use these colors. I'm not even going to erase my ink lines or my pencil lines that I even sketched with to put it on. You're going like, He should have known if he turned it this way, he'd have gotten the whole boat in. Sometimes I don't need to show my audience the whole drawing. I just need to show that one piece that gets the imagination going. That's something you'll need to learn in your style. Either you love it or you don't. Working with children last week, I taught a class on painting fall leaves. So they all had some fake leaves that you can order, which are great for them to hold. But I went out and I picked up a bunch of leaves and come in and said, now pick up a small leaf. Maybe smaller. Finally, I got them down to a little leaf about like this. And I said, I'll give you one piece of paper. And don't put this in the middle of the page. Put it somewhere off to the side. An upper right hand. This is the rule of thirds if you don't know about it. So put it somewhere down here, halfway down. Don't center it. Don't block it. Don't measure it. Oh, I should have moved it over 1/8 of an inch because it's not even. You go like, stop worrying about even and measure it and worry about where the eye takes you and where the mind takes you in your art, please. Go down here. And so basically that's kind of what I was trying to get them to think through. And they finally got it in. And then I said, then they all immediately grabbed a brush and they started going like this. Wait. And what I want you to do is I want you to just take a brush that's got some water in it, just clean water. And I want you just to go and wet the boat, or wet the leaf. And so they started doing that. It was pretty remarkable what they did. So once again, no, this is not Rembrandt, the Prodigal Son. This is not fine art. If you're ever going to the museum and you're going like, gosh, what is he doing there, you know? And so these little people here are in this boat. And I'm showing you this because I want to just get a rough thing here of what these colors do, because I haven't really painted with coastal fog, and I haven't painted with this what did I say it was called? Brown. I haven't painted with this before. Brown ochre, goethite, GOE. THITE. I haven't painted with that before, just right here. So we're going to see. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a different brush today. I'm going to take a little bit of what's called a dagger. Here's a 1/4 inch dagger. Okay, see this one's made by Dynasty, and there it is right there. That's what it looks like. Here's one made by Princeton. I keep it. This one's brand new. I got it at Cheap Joe's yesterday. It's called a dagger striper. And so, well, shoot, I'll just use the new one so you can see it. All right, picked it up off the shelf at Cheap Joe's yesterday, and take a little bit of this. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to go in and I'm going to add some water on this boat with this striper brush. I could use something else to add a little more water if I wanted to. I'm painting on, not 140 pound today after that big spiel about that, but I'm painting just so I want you this to be on a different paper to pop. I'm painting on Fabriano 140 pound hot press. This is 11 by 14, so I just ripped it in half. And I got that at Joe's also. This is my daughter's favorite paint that she does all her flowers, or her favorite paper she does all her flowers on. And so anyway, so all I'm doing now is just throwing some water in there. And you see what's happening right now? The ink from my Pentel Intergel is seeping in, but I'm going to go and I'm just going to grab a little bit of this brown and I'm going to throw it in on top of this boat. It may not be dark enough, and if it's not, I'm going to treat it just a little differently, but we'll see. I figure it's a sun-weathered boat, and we're just going to throw in some water, some paint, just like this. It would have been a little darker had I not wet the whole boat, but boats are made to get wet, right? Okay, so now you understand where I'm going with this. All right, so there we go. Put the mask in here like this, bring it down, across bar here, across spar. This is a little spar, I guess. So, and I'm not trying to paint this really smoothly, and that was the other thing, trying to get the kids to say, they wanted to do like this in the leaf. Oh, and then a couple kids are saying, whoa, change that grip, back it up. And so spent about 2 hours wandering around, and 4 of those kids, I mean, their paintings just rose to the surface. And it was the most remarkable thing. And I'm going like, this one little girl named Emily, she came over and she said, Roo, Mr. Rue, I want to give you my painting. And I said, Emily, I want to take your painting, but I can't. Your mother and your father need this painting, and they need it framed, and they need to put a date on it. Like, you need to sign it when you get home. Once it dries a little more, and you need to keep this, because someday you're going to go, this was my first painting that I understood the process. It was fantastic. I'm telling you, man, I got excited. I'm going like, this is the coolest thing ever. All right, so let's go in with a little bit of what we got here. We got some peacock. Let's grab a little peacock and let's come in here with this dark, whoa, man, this is some storm water here, okay? So we'll throw a little peacock in there, and got a little water bouncing around here from my boat. We're going to let it in like this, and I think this is too bright, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little extra water, and then I'm going to go, remember, I have not painted with these paints before, so I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm going to grab some of that Pat's Coastal Fog, and I'm going to drop it right on top of this. Oh, look at that. Look at it running. Can you see it moving? It literally is moving. I'm going to drop it right on some of this right here. I love that. Okay, I just discovered something brand new today. This almost could stand a little bit of a straw. Do I have one here on the deck somewhere? A little short straw right here. I have a little short straw right here. Let's see if we can get. Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. All right, so excuse me for the cough, but it's going to happen today. I'm still taking my. All right, now I'm going to change over here, and I'm going to get a little bit of. What I need here is a little bit of gray or a little bit of buff titanium, because I want to change what this character in the front of the boat, which would be Jesus, it would be wearing in there. And put it on these guys, and I want to put a little brown down here like this, because this guy's in an old brown over here. Couple more of those guys, and if they need some help head-wise, I'm just going to put some more pen work in here and get all that couple little colors in there. So I've got to reach back to my palette and grab a little board. Like one of them's got a red still here. Let's say that this one has a scarf that's blowing back in the breeze. And then we got water splashing up on these guys. So you see where I'm headed with this, though? I'm going to grab some sail color right here. Just drop that in a little bit, just hanging down right there. Maybe a little more. Now what I'm going to do is, just for fun, you can see what I did there. All I need to remind myself of this story is this. That's all I need. Because once I've read it, I don't need to paint the perfect picture that represents everything I just read. I want to just go boom in my brain and take it over there. So what I might do, though, is I might take and put, they're on a small lake, if you know the story. So I might put a hillside over here just like this and put some hills in there. And I'm going to try a couple more of these colors. I'm going to get out the same brush. Clean that brush off a little bit on a dirty paper towel. And let's put in some of this chromium green over here. There it is coming on the hillsides back over there. There's a little bit of that coming in. And then let's come in with what's going to go on top of that. I have some earthen green that I pulled out also. So here's a little earthen green. I'll pull the earthen green, and I'm just going to drop that on there too. And then here I'm going to go get some of this brown here. My brain's just firing right now. I'm thinking I need brown, I need green, I need hillside. I need some of that in there just like that. Get that hillside going over there and in behind. And then I'm going to need a little sky. For the sky, I could probably use the coastal sea fog as well, Pat's Coastal Sea Fog. Pat's Coastal, what I call it? I got to get it again so you know exactly what I'm calling it. It's called Pat's Coastal Blue. It's got a little bit of green in it, and so I'm going to grab some of that Pat's Coastal Blue, and I'm just going to make that be the sky up here. But I do think the sky needs a little bit more darkness in it, so I'm going to pull a little of that heavy in to just create some storm clouds and some rain. And just blow that in right in there like this. And then I basically am finished with my little sketch. And people go, well, that's not really a sketch. And I go, well, it is. I just did it. The other thing is, what does this sketch say? And then that's kind of where I leave my audience to do their own thing. And but I'll say, now, this is not yours to show. It's not yours to sell. It's not yours to do anything with. It's yours just to take home. next week when you look at this, will you remember that story? Will you remember the story in Mark 3 where these people were in a boat and they thought they were going to drown? And the person that they thought was responsible for them was asleep in the back of the boat. And they say, don't you care that we're going to die? And he walks to the front of the boat and he says, be still. And then the next painting could be just water like glass. Okay, so that gives me the ideas that I paint every day. And that's kind of how I do this. So I wanted to show you, I just thought of this one with these new colors because when he was picking up some paint yesterday that I'm going to share with him and let him take a box home full, I said, pick me up some new colors to use. And he said, well, how about Bumblebee Yellow? And I go, never used it. How about Pat's Coastal Fog? I said, I know about it. And some people on the show paint with it. I've never used it because, you know, I was always thinking hardcore roosters. I wasn't thinking that. I always dilute something. There it is. So I like what it did here. This was a fun little touch that I didn't expect. I had extra water coming in. I just grabbed some of my brush and I put it here. And look, can you just see it move again? Watch it move right here. And so I get this, a little bit of white. You could actually probably throw a little bit of titanium white in there as well, if you had some, which I do here. And just like bounce it in here just like this and get some pretty cool little waves coming out. Look at that right there. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you see, I didn't really try to paint water. I just put the colors in and let them go. I could come back in with this now and put some brake boards in this boat. I could put some pins and rivets and all sorts of things. I could have some ropes sitting around here. I could have this guy could have his hands completely up in the air, and this person here is saying, oh, why are you always afraid? Good grief. All right, there you go. Works, doesn't it? It works as a quick sketch. If I could get people to just do a quick sketch, 20 minutes, 10 minutes every morning, you would not believe what would happen to their art in 6 months. You would not even imagine what would happen to their art in 1 year. So for me, that's why I'll probably start carrying these colors, and I'll probably start using them in my my other Bible journals, which are around here somewhere. I don't know. Here's one that here's one. There's several of them around here. I've got to go back and start again. And it's not that I stopped. I just haven't been doing them on YouTube and online. So, all right. Any questions? Any thoughts? Any comments? Any whatever's? Q. Let's see. What did you learn from the kids that painted with you? Good question. One is I learned that they see me paint fast, but they don't need to paint that fast. But what I'm asking for in the speed is a lightness of touch and a quickness and not overworking one area. And that's what they do. They go back to the same area again. They go back to the same area again. And I want to show you an example of what happened and a child learned from it. Great question. And here's what he did. Let me find a little piece of paper here. And let me just do a little leaf just for fun here. We'll just do a Okay, it's a real crude little leaf, but here it is. Okay, so let me just do it with let me do it with something really radical here. Let me do it with a bamboo brush today. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to grab some water and I'm going to start doing what I do again. Remember, this pen's going to bleed in. Now we're painting on 140-pound Kilimanjaro bright white, 100% cotton, and so there it is right there. We know this leaf is going to be. We know this leaf's going to have some. Let's try this color right here. Let's try this brown oxide goth, whatever it is. I got to find out how to pronounce it. I'll have to call Brian next week and go, okay, you paint people. Brian and Chief Joseph go, what's the matter with you? And I go, I don't know how to pronounce this. What is this? So I told them to just go in here and make those leaves start to turn all kinds of colors because the chlorophyll is not out of all of them yet, and it's not in. So the ends are starting to burn out a little bit. You're going to get some extra browns out there on the ends. And so I'm saying, plus, let it run out of the lines a little bit. Please don't worry about it being so perfect, because what we can do is we can take the back of your brush, take the back of your handle, and you can drag it right up into the corner just a little bit like this. And if it sticks over a little bit, that's perfectly okay. And then so I want a little more red in there just for fun. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this, and I'm going to show you what this young child learned. So I'm going to put a little red right in there just on the back side. Color's starting to change. And so I wound up doing this little leaf. Okay, now let's get a dry brush. So this is a number 6, I believe. Yep, Miller Pseudo Sable. I'm going to wet it and knock some of the water out of it. So I've got a damp brush, but clean, no paint in it, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag it up through the center of the brush like this. I'm going to do it again. Clean brush, a little bit of water, 1, 2, 3 taps. I'm going to drag it up through the center again. I'm going to drag it up through the center again. I'm going to drag it up to the center again. I'm going to drag it over here. Clean brush, drag it over here. Clean brush. Now I'm going to take a dry brush and drag it up to the center. Clean, dry brush. I'm going to drag it over here. Clean, dry brush, drag it over here. What am I doing? I'm lifting out some paint in the middle. But I can also do this another way. I can take it in here and just drag my brush handle down like this. And then I can drag it over and make the leaves like this. I didn't paint. I didn't draw the veins. I'm scratching them in. And then watch this. So here's his little leaf. You see the little veins that scratched in right there and there? I just did them with the handle. What did I do? I dented the paper. Think of embossing. When you dent the paper, the ink or the paint or the color lays down in there. I just scrimshawed it a little bit. I scratched it, and then I gave that ink or that color a little weld to rest in. It's going to dry darker there. So here's what he did. He got somewhere way over into the woods in some black and gray and green, and he wound up putting a pile of it right in here in his leaf, just like this. And he was kind of unhappy with it, and he went, oh no. And I said, just let it alone for a few minutes and just let it sort of find its way through this leaf. And he goes, but, and I said, no, just move it over to the side and start tracing another leaf on your other little piece of paper. And so he did. Give it a little bit of time. And then I came back to it in about 5 minutes. And I'm going to do this one in just a couple minutes, but I'm going to show you what he did. I said, did you know sometimes you can erase watercolor with a paper towel? Now just go grab it like this and touch it and press down a little bit. And if it's too much and you like that color, go back in and add just a little bit more. So he did. Now, if we'd have waited a few more minutes, you would have seen something else happen here. But I'm going to show you what happens in just a second. So I'll take it out again like this. All right, so what happened was this. The inside of his leaf had these, it picked up the marks from the paper towel, and it picked up the marks from the paper, and it looked like it was absolutely leaf veins all the way through it. And he went, oh, my leaf looks like the leaf I traced. When you see a 7-year-old go, I painted what I saw, that's just a victory moment that I experienced. And then what I noticed was he pushed it over again and he let it set. And he went and got another leaf, the one he had started when I said give that one a rest. And he painted it kind of the same way. And then he put that dark color in the middle again. And then after a few minutes, he pressed it down and he goes, I said, I think you've just found a new style. You're lifting color off to give you more of the look that you're trying to chase. And he was so excited about that. And I said, look, here's what I say to the friends that join me online every week. The painting isn't over till you say it's over. So have some fun with it and just enjoy what it is that you're doing. And then I showed him this other trick. I said, just get a brush, maybe a number 4. So he got a little number 4. Like so, okay? Wet it with clean water. Put your pencil over it just a little bit, and then just go tap, tap, tap. Clean water, tap, 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 and then let it dry. So now I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to show you what happens. And so he had done those 2 or 3 processes to his leaves, and he went, oh my gosh, I don't feel like I paint. He didn't say this. his his mom, yeah, it was his mom. His name was Caleb. His mom said, I thought he had ruined it, but he made it better. And I said, don't give up. Watercolor isn't over until you say it's over as the artist, because you can always go back in and add something. But you don't feel like you painted a leaf. You feel like you discovered in an abstract way this fall leaf, and it was cool. So that happened several times. It was really kind of fun. I may have just dropped offline. Did I? I don't know what happened here. Something happened to my. Is it still? Am I still up and running? My comment box went away. Boom. There it is. All right. Here we go. Let's go back here. All right. Okay. Oh, you think it's Pat? That's funny. You said Pat says she thought it's funny that I put my leaf in the center of the paper. Well, I did it so it would be centered for you guys. That is funny, actually. So I appreciate you saying that, and I'll remedy that right now. Here. All right, there you go. I have solved that. I did it so it would look, so it would be in the center of my camera, not because I was trying to be artistic. This is a demo, but that's funny. Ah, man, it makes me laugh. All right, let's see. I'm out of town. Help my sister with medical procedure. All right, well, Trish will pray for you, my dear. All right. Let's see here. Anne-Marie Lettery Hess, 20 minutes a day changed my life, Denise Albright. No kidding, Denise. You're art, and you're throwing out some great stuff, man. And I use the word throw in a creative way, like a shot putter, not throwing it out. You're tossing to the world some beautiful stuff. Love the story. All right. So, Deborah Springler, I don't think I said hello to you, or Susan Peters. Thanks for being on the show. Good morning to you. QDB. Let's see here. Lori Stanley Handelmeyer Henderson, thanks for being on. Skeeter Powell's on the show today. Is that right? Hey. All right. Good to have you on the show. Okay. Keep sailing along with your art. Thank you very much. I love it. Cindy Wiltermood, you're on the show. And there's Brenda Tucker. Thank you for being here today. Chris Whitaker's on the show. Awesome. Chris has gotten powerfully productive with her pencil. I'll tell you that. Wow. It's just remarkable, the detailed artwork that's coming out of that. So you've got to listen to your own soul, your own style, and you've got to say, am I going to paint loose and raucous and as this person, or am I going to follow someone else? But at some point in time, follow you. That's what I'm after in this. If I can teach you one thing, if I can lead you, what's that old saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him float on his back. And some of you are going like, oh, no, I think it was make him drink. No, every horse wants to drink. You don't have to lead him to water to get him to drink, but you got to do some work to get him to float on their back. That's a tough one. So for me, if I can get you to think, I want to use references and I want to pastiche, I want to learn from other people and what they do, but then at some point in time, I want my own style, my own energy, and my own view of what it is that I love and how I want to express what I'm thinking and saying and seeing. That's going to become your style. I wish there were better illustrations, your visual voice, your own personal style, your heart of art on the paper is what I wish for you. And for me, sometimes it can be as simple as having your grown son with 2 grandchildren pick the colors and say, pick me 6 colors. What's that old movie, The Natural? When he sends him, he breaks his bat. Oh, if you haven't watched The Natural in years with Robert Redford, and he goes, Bobby, pick me out a good one. So yesterday I thought of that and say, hey, Nathan, pick me out a good one, man. And he goes, I'm going to pick out this color. What is it? I go, can you pronounce it? I'm going to pick out this. You've got Gambo's yellow. You've got Indian yellow. You have sun yellow. You don't have bumblebee yellow, and you paint bees. And I'm going like, pick it out. I'll try it. And so that's kind of the route we went yesterday. Earth and Green, I said, yeah, got some Earth and Green. People on my show, or the show, I don't want to call it my show, but I guess I sort of do head it up here. They love Earth and Green. And so he said, how about this? I said, I already have that one. I'll give you one of those when we get home. And how about this? And so we went through this list, but you get an idea of what that looks like. Now, that water is probably a little blue for me, a little still blue. I darken it up with maybe some ultramarine, pop that in there a little bit. But now what you've got is about 4 colors that came in to make this leaf and look at it. Did it look like it was hard to paint? No. And so then you got to go out. And so what I did was I spent just a few minutes with them teaching them about some leaves. And so it was, that would be a maple leaf or an acer, if those of you who studied Latin. And then you could go into a red oak, or a white oak that has this long little cinder strip down, and it's kind of gets skinny, and you can do some cool leaves like that. Anyway, there's all these cool little leaves, and you can also, I said, by the way, if you paint a hickory leaf, then you probably should paint a hickory nut, and it doesn't have a cap like an acorn. So this one goes with this, but then this hickory nut is shaped like this, and it's got some little veins in it that comes down, and it's round on the corner. Looks like a pumpkin if you're not careful. So I wanted them to just start looking at what was around them, and I sent them home by saying, next week when you paint something that's laying on your kitchen table. Maybe it's your brush, maybe it's your pen. And so anyway, that's my challenge to you today, is that every now and then, even though you get in your groove and you're looking to find a groove, and I'm saying to you, find your style and your groove, I still want you to take it and push the edge of it and get out of the box just a little bit. What if is what I normally say. And I closed the radio show, or I closed the television show off at Fox News in 2004. Every morning, I was the traffic guy, and nobody cared about traffic at 6 o'clock in the morning. By the time we got off the air at close to 9, people were worried about the traffic a little more, but they weren't watching TV then. They were in their cars. So early on in the morning when I would do the traffic, I'd go, hey, it's 5 o'clock, and you know what? You're at home watching me on TV. You don't care about the traffic. So let me show you the maps, and let's talk about this, and then I'll just play the guitar. And so, but I would say, what if? So I played this what if game, and I would think of what if. What if you did that? What if you did that? So I used to say, what if as you're going in this morning and you're actually in your car and you're sipping your coffee and your great little handheld thermos and your coffee holder, and you're trying to figure out who you need to call or what you need to do first. What if you just look around and you allow someone to merge in front of you? What if you did? What would happen? And so that scenario I always wanted to use to set them up. What would happen? What would happen if you, on your way somewhere today, just allowed that other person to just merge in? What would happen? One, they would go, wow, that person must be nice. The second thing is, you would get there later. You know how much later? 20 feet, about the length of a car in your following distance, 25 feet. 25 feet. It's like, there. That's it. That's how much later you would get to work. Okay? So what if you let 2 cars in? What if you just said, come on, I got you. What if you just held traffic behind you for 3 seconds to let that person turn left? What if you did? What if you watched out for each other like that? And what if in your art you just took a little bit of a detour? You said, I've been painting this. Now today I'm going to paint this. And you went that way just for a few breaths. What if you said, I have always said there's just one way to do this. What if there's 10 ways to do it? What if you just change your palette completely today? What if you look in those palettes that you have and pull out those drawers? What if you use a pen you've never had before? What if you used 6 colors you've never used before today? Okay, that's not true. I've used earth and green. 5 colors. 5 colors I've never used before today. There they are. What if you did? What if you did? This is a great fall palette. All I need to add on this is some orange, cat orange or Halloween orange or pumpkin orange or some kind of orange. I've got my red and orange here, or I've got red and blue here. I could have made my green. I need that red to kind of pop a little bit and get my orange color. So if I had a red, a poppy red, in fact, that's one of the colors that he picked up. So I could have added that. Here it is right here. Boom, watch this. Shucks, I bet I put my little there it is. There's a little half pan. By the way, I get these half pans on Amazon for just a few bucks. All right, there's a little poppy red right there. I lied to you. It's coral, but I thought he got poppy. I guess he didn't. He got coral. So I'll use coral red. Might like it. Might love it. In fact, it's going to be perfect. Grab my brush. Where is it? The one I was using is this. I think I was painting with this, wasn't I? Okay, so let's go in with just a touch of coral red. Let's drop a little coral red. Oh, that's kind of nice. Okay. You know I was going to say that because I'm not going to back up now. I'm into it. But look what I can do. Grab a little of this bumblebee yellow and put it over that. Oh, man. Okay, now we're talking. All right, boom, done, quit. What if I did? Ta-da! All right, I'm out of here. Gonna go make some breakfast for the family, and you be creative for the next little while. No, you didn't miss my PBS interview that I know of. I don't think they put it together yet. You know, life went crazy in the world of television and news, and I haven't heard from them, but that's the way of TV. Sometimes, you know, they shoot something, they go, oh, yeah, we shot that 10 years ago. The guy looks older now. I don't know. So I'll send them a note and see what happens. But it was a fun interview. Once you paint roofs, make me pick up my brushes again. I've painted many gifts for family, friends. Even painted a donkey for a boy. Even painted a donkey for a boy to ride in a church play. All right, I didn't know more about that, but Janet Kelly is a fun thing. We're traveling at the moment. I know those people all in Arkansas are the friendliest people I ever met. Kudos to Arkansas. Yeah, man. Go Razorbacks. Betsy Kuzna, have a good day. Thank you very much. All right, folks, I appreciate you being on today. I'm going to split. Paint some fall leaves if you haven't, and paint them without too much detail. Just trace a leaf, or just make your own leaf, or crumble one up and tear the side of it off. It's okay. It's okay. All right, I'm out of here like a herd of turtles. I'll post something today, a little later probably, and in my daily auction. Thank you for keeping up with that, and for those of you who own roos and hang them on the wall. Hey, next time you go in a restaurant, paint on some coasters too, okay? That's kind of a fun thing to do. All right, see ya.